Fallout 3 has a lot of weapons. Some are powerful, some are large, some are wacky, and some are locked behind a paywall. I assume you have read the title, so you know I'm going for the last option. That leading me to say, can you beat Fallout 3 with only alien weapons? In this video I shall lead you on my misadventures in the MotherShipZeta DLC and the Capital Wasteland. As the title suggests, I will only be using alien weaponry, so I must go straight for the DLC. With that all said, on we go. Being birthed into this godforsaken world, I was given my number, me being the one and only alien. Then made myself as alien-esque as possible. The mother then hit Alt F4 on her life, and I was now a babby. Assigning my specials, I went for a very broad variety, but made sure for definite I had high points in agility and endurance, as I was going straight into the DLC, at very below the recommended level. Liam Neeson then recited the Bible to an alien, and I started convulsing, at just the mere thought of there being anything other than aliens in the sky. The horror. I then became 9. Got to murder a radroach. Pause. I'm just going to say here, this doesn't count, and it is impossible to skip. Rocketing through some more of my life, I took the goat. Selecting energy weapons as alien blasters still thankfully scale with it, along with melee weapons and repair, the latter of which being pointless, and the former of which being, as I thought I was not going to have that much ammo for when I returned from my interstellar journey. But spoiler, I did have a lot of ammo, so this was quite pointless. And on my 18th year in the vault, I was awoken by a martyr, and ran out of the vault. There not being much I could do here, so I kinda had to play ring around the overseer's desk with vault security until I could escape. The hellhole, which is vault 111. Here also finalising my stats, upping strength to 6, as by this point I realised I may have to use melee weapons. My first port of call in the wasteland was Lucky Harif outside Megaton, selling all my shit I had scraped up off the people in the vault for 3 stim packs. Then I headed off. Yup, I'm that intelligent. I didn't even bother with going into Megaton, having only 17 stim packs and some vault security armour, which I had yoinked off Officer Kendall as he was mauled by some roaches. I was in my eyes, with no time to waste, ready for the challenge of the mothership. But hold your horses, I had to make my entrance yet. So I walked, and I walked, and I walked some more, carefully manoeuvring around mole rats and raiders. I finally came across what I was looking for, finding a dilapidated crashed spaceship with a dead alien. Going to do some investigating, a strange beam of light came straight down from the heavens, and I was sucked up. Waking up some time later, I was being probed by some green boys. Just what I was looking for. Well, I then found myself in a cell with a rather annoying woman. She jabbered on about some escape plan, so I listened and followed along with it, beating her up. This not being fair as she's not dead.
Hello there.
Oh wait, I have to kill the aliens here. Shit. Yes, I may, I might as well come clean here. I may or may not have never actually played this DLC but by myself before. And all my knowledge of it comes off of YouTube videos. So I forgot this major point, that I had to kill the aliens to escape. It not going very well for me the first time, as Samoa is useless and barely even put up a fight. Myself going down soon after her. Reassessing my strategy, I began this again. This time, however, I went in swinging, with the full intention of killing the little green bastards myself. But thankfully, Samoa got the last hit in, so I didn't fail the run, and I could finally use an alien weapon. Finally getting to the namesake of the run. You're welcome. My weapon though, being a shock baton, and I immediately put it to use, whacking the remaining aliens over the skull with the reinforcements that were sent our way, getting the same treatment. With that sorted, we were free and I found a child, and in order to free her from her cage, I found a gimmick of the DLC. That being these little power thingies, which I had to lower the coolant on in order to explode, them cutting the power to each section. These goddamn things were in this DLC so fucking much, being the main thing and not repetitious at all. Nevertheless, the child was freed, her bird being the name of Sally, and her being another one of these things that were the main driving point of the DLC, as she immediately showed she could crawl through some vents and find new areas. Cool. Anyways, here I was also able to get all my shite back, so I had some armour and I could heal my wounds. Luckily the ship did have its own healables, so it wasn't all that big of a deal. Coming across some more aliens, these ones having blasters, which could rip me apart quite hastily. So rushing one after the first failed attempt, I yoinked an alien atomizer and used it on the rest of them. Surprisingly to me, the blaster did a sizable amount of damage, along with all the others' blasters, so there was no real threat posed from the aliens from the get-go. I more saw them as ammo and weapon crates from this point forward. One reason for this may be because they actually do scale with my level, which I didn't suspect, but who knows. Now already having settled on my weapon of choice, that being the alien disintegrator, as it was superior in firepower, and I can say also held up with its namesake as it disintegrated every alien it came across. Leveling up in this madness, there is not much to speak on, just know that I had still been putting points into energy weapons, and that's about it. Making it into the main room, the plot thickened, as up there was a whole load of random people from history in cryogenic stasis, them all being bland as can be, so I won't bother you with them all that much. Just know there's a soldier from Anchorage, a cowboy, a samurai, and a dead spaceman, whose suit I was told by Sally to steal, so that I did. And while we were on the topic, from what this child said, she has escaped a few times, so why the aliens have not killed her exactly? Please, Bethesda, explain that one. To move away from that, the next part of this DLC, rather the whole rest of it, excluding some notable points, I have particularly no reason to talk about. Despite how long this video has already gone on for, due to my lengthy yapping, there isn't really nothing to talk about. The first section had me clear out a cryo area, lasered some aliens, blew up an engine thingy. Next, I cleared out a robot area, lasered some robots this time, also getting killed a few times here due to my lack of heals, but the end result was the same as I blew up another engine thingy. Then onto a space dock area, which did have some flavour. I know, shocking, as in order to get the engine thingy, I had to use a spaceship as a pinball machine, killing a hell of a load of aliens. And then blew up yet another engine thingy. One thing to note here is by this stage, the sheer amount of aliens I had cleared out, I was sitting on over 1300 alien rounds, so any worries in the department of ammo was non-existent. Having dominated the aliens, proving myself as the superior alien, I returned to Sally, the only one with a fecking plan for some reason, despite there being 4 other goddamn adults. Given one is a Japanese man, but no English, and one is a cowboy, but like, come on. Nevertheless, Sally's plan was to take control of the ship, and with the monotony out of the way, the fun could finally begin. Walking into the next room, putting on my spacesuit, decompressing some aliens, and I entered the outside. The dark blackness of space staring back at me, I could only do one thing, and I slowly waddled into its loving embrace. Reloading this, I actually did what I was out there to do, that being to push in some panels and activate a tractor beam, taking me up to the upper part of the ship, and then beaming in my compatriots, we listened to an assumed alien master yap a little, him not sounding very happy with us. I was then once again forced to be a one-man army as I took on some more aliens in order to reach the destination. You may wonder a bit why I haven't really spoken on the weapons. That is because every single alien I encountered went like this. Yeah, there is not much to talk about. One thing I will bring up though, is in a room which I assume is an alien weapon storage, I found some metal armour. which gave me just a tad bit more damage reduction, as by now my Vault suit was quite bedraggled. The game then continued like so, until I reached the Death Ray room. Now with my incredibly smooth brain, it took me some time to figure out what all the buttons meant, multiple times accidentally blowing a hole into the earth, about the size of Uruguay. But surpassing that fun was yet some more thingies I needed to blow up, and having to repeat this 4 more times with some waves of aliens, which I suppose were meant to be threatening, but yeah, you know how it is by now. Doing it one final time, the Death Ray was deactivated. Hold that thought, trust me. I then found my way to the bridge, wiped the floor with the crew and their captain, got a unique blaster, the captain's sidearm, but it being bloody useless as it was worse than every other alien blaster. I then one final time beamed in my compadres with another Zetan ship pulled up on us, and I bet you will never guess the Death Ray that I destroyed earlier was somehow now operational, and I had to shoot it at the other ship. Guess this was the biggest weapon I get to use for one of these runs, huh? It took a bit of getting used to, but I had to fire the laser and they dropped the shields, and leaving mine to drop and raise and repeat until I did it. I blew the ship out of the sky. I did it for you, my lord. Anyways, with that I leveled up, getting my energy weapons to 91, witnessed the fireworks, and I could finally return to the capital wasteland, me being the one true alien of this universe. And as a token of my good work, I found myself the weapon which started this all, the alien blaster on the floor where you first get beamed in. It doing 84 damage, so compared to the disintegrators, 54, and it also taking a different ammo type annoyingly. But having 207 rounds, I did use it sparingly, while the others were not a problem as I had over 2,000 rounds. Nevertheless, the DLC was finally over, with me sadly having to now be on human land, but for a good cause, as I could test out my new arsenal on some flesh and blood. And also find my father, I guess. But first, I went to Megaton, bought up some Simpacks, and got some caps for all the alien shit I had hoarded. Finally inquired about my father, discovering he had gone a ways up the road to Galaxy News HQ. So that's where I headed. Before reaching it, I stopped off in Super Duper Mart to test out my weapons on some raiders, and to say they fared absolutely no chance against my superior alien might. Despite my horrific aim, they all went down in 1 or 2 shots. Also testing out my new blaster here, and it did just as well as I imagined. But these being low level raiders, which you're expected to meet literally as you come out of the vault, so I didn't really trust them on my testing capabilities. Now heading down to the subway, for some reason I was still worried about ammo, so I used the baton on some ghouls. It did go quite well, but why I did it I don't know. Then getting my first taste of a super mutant as he hit the floor in 2 shots, coming across even more as I surfaced in the downtown Washington area. Them all exploding easily, even to my baton. The behemoth outside Galaxy News was a different challenge, however. Don't take it the wrong way, he was still very easily taken down, as I did have Brotherhood backup as well. He just took a few more hits, as his health pool was quite a bit bigger than any other enemy I'd come across. Entering the radio station, a blue 3-dog, a new one, for no apparent reason, I just felt like it. And with nothing else to do in here, I could say the alien's first test drive on flesh and blood, humans, and humanoid creatures was a success.
Great success!
Left with nowhere else to go, for now, I headed for Rivet City. The walk there was not an eventful one, just had me stop off at Jefferson Memorial and clear out the super mutants. Now, as I thought, it would be better to get it out of the way. Oh, and if you're wondering how I can still repair my weapons on the fly, let's just say ammo was not the only thing I had collected from the ship, as I had a stockpile of weapons in my arse just for the occasion. With the trend of the alien blasters being overpowered to hell, even the super mutant brutes went down in 3 shots. The memorial now being cleared out, I went to Rivet City, spoke Madison Lee, the least annoying scientist in the Commonwealth, her telling me to listen to some holotapes, Me not having acquired said holotapes, I said screw it, fast travelled to Megaton, and went for the long jog to Smith Casey's garage, where the father, was currently having a nice tranquil time. Me having to laser and boink some wildlife on my way there, I entered the garage, and in turn Vault 112. Hopping into the Tranquility Lounger, not having any time for chit-chat, I started the Chinese invasion and dipped out of there. My sorry excuse for Dad was now free. I leveled up, once again putting my final points into energy weapons, returned to River City, and we could now get the show on the road. Project Purity being that. Speaking with Dad, I put some switches in place, powered up the plant, then taking a dive into some pipes. And the Enclave arrived. Just before this, I may or may not have taken care of a few problems, but that is hearsay. I await you in court. Having only my dad and Madison to worry about, I scurried back indoors, where I came face to face with an actual proper enemy having armour and good weapons. Sadly, like many others, the alien blaster was no match, and they got whipped, to put it bluntly. I was then witness to a homicide and a suicide, all within the span of 20 seconds. Liam Neeson telling me to run, and I don't think you want to know what happens when you don't comply with Liam Neeson. So I did just that, brutalising every Enclave soldier on my way through the sewers, and me and Madison eventually reaching the Citadel, them welcoming us with open arms, and after all of that, still having 1700 plus rounds. So literally every single worry I had about ammo was completely dumbfounded, which is great. But anyways, listening to a 2-minute long yap sesh between Elder Lyons and Madison Lee, I took my chance to ask Lyons for the power armor training, him giving me his blessing. Like who wouldn't? I'm Alien 1, ruler of space and that. Then getting said training from Paladin Gunny, I proceeded to run around the Citadel like a headless chicken for some power armor, of which I did not find, but I did speak to Scribe Rothschild to further the main quest, and I was off looking for a Gek. And as it was on my way, I returned to Vault 111, finding just a quick pause here. I may or may not have just realised this entire time I've been calling it Vault 111 when it's in fact Vault 101. Because I am an idiot. Please look over that for this time being. I'm sorry. Please, help me. Anyways, inside the vault, finding without my mere presence, these savages had developed into anarchy. Speaking with everyone, I found myself as one clear option. Heading up to the Overseer's office, I showed these mere humans the taste of my alien power. The Overseer taking the full brunt of it, provoking him into attacking me, and one shot was all it took for him to explode into millions of pieces. My handiwork being completed and the troubles in the vault ending, I left it to its fate. Continuing on my path, stumbling into Little Lamplight, I had not taken the child at heart perk, so abolishing the slavers at Paradise Falls of their lives, and with my overpowered blaster, which was impeccably precise, I may add, I worked my way through liberating the slaves. After this, speaking once more with McCready, he allowed me access, for I had brought back his compatriots. Entering, I legally put down Sticky, as he was 18, and no one else cared for him. Getting McCready to race the gate to Murder Pass, I went on a mutant killing rampage with my overpowered blaster, it looking a little something like this. Coming upon Forks, I let Big Green out of his cell, him promising to retrieve the Gek. For me, that lasting all of about 5 seconds, I was not about to wait for this slow-ass son of a bitch to waddle his way to the Gek. So popping some rad away, I enjoyed the rads, thankfully the door frame not being affected and me being an alien and all, it was a piece of cake, and I grabbed the Gek and dipped out of there. But my moves not being quick enough as the Enclave appeared, and I was for the second time this run, transported somewhere without my consent. Waking up in Raven Rock, I had no time for games, speedrunning my friendship with Colonel Autumn, and the president released me. I retrieved my belongings and I started blasting. Here also picking up some power armor, as I thought, why not? Rising to the occasion, repeating this, locking in on every soldier before they had even a chance to react, and they were all reduced to atoms in mere moments. Committing myself to a conversation with Mr. President, I confused him so much he started his self-destruct sequence. Damn, we sure are lucky that that couldn't happen in the real world. With that dangerous thought out of the way, I made my escape. The base went kaboom, and I fast travelled back to the Citadel. Getting the honour of watching yet another cutscene of just pure yap, the final battle commenced, Sarah Lyons also giving me a Brotherhood appropriate suit of power armour. Then came the walk. Now, not being too worried about my weapons, as this was the finale, I used the overpowered blaster to my heart's content. Having repaired it prior to this, there was no worry at all. I also found out the downside to walking in front of Liberty Prime, as I almost was reduced to atoms myself, but I was in the Clip's mindset as I needed to kill all those Enclave soldiers myself. Doing some more blasting, we've reached Project Purity for the final time, bumming all the soldiers inside, giving Autumn no time to even speak, as he was gone in a heartbeat. Along with the soldiers, the place was finally cleared. Now, having a dilemma to absolve, as Project Purity had to be turned on, and with me not about to sacrifice my pure alien body to all of this radiation, I sent in Sarah Lyons. She switched it on, ending the game, and I can say, yes, you can indeed beat Fallout 3 with only alien weapons. I assume there were no guesses about that ending, as at the beginning it was practically already determined. As well, the alien weapons are kind of badly overpowered in all the Fallout games, but I do still hope you enjoyed despite that. I can for sure say this was a fun one to record, especially as I had never played the MotherShipZeta DLC before, and the weapons were fun as hell. Even though the DLC itself was pretty shite, to say the least, it was still, overall, a fun experience. Sorry if that was a bit too easy of a run. I am in the future hoping to challenge myself a little bit better, trust me. But with all that said and done, if you did enjoy, consider liking and subscribing. And if you have any suggestions for future runs and feedback, do leave them in the comments, as they are very much appreciated. So thank you for watching, all the way to the end. Goodbye everybody.